Budget 2023 envisage a steadily developing country where our people live in a cohesive and modern society, where their dreams are made possible, and where families can make meaningful contributions to our country. These, Mr. Speaker, I see as the lofty ideals Budget 2023 is set against as we strive for equality and ensure the fruits of development are shared by everyone. As I've listened to the debate and comments outside of this August House, Mr. Speaker, I've come to two realizations. One, Mr. Speaker, the APNU and the AFC, since the budget presentation, have not advanced anything meaningfully. Several presenters from that side of the House, rather than constructive submissions, have resorted to divisive rhetoric. Mr. Speaker, I understand the opposition excluding, of course, the Deputy Speaker. Mr. Speaker, apart from the depression of divorce, they have nothing to say. Maybe it is, as Vice President Dr. Bara Jagdeo said, they do not understand the construct of Budget 2023. Mr. Speaker, I would urge the honorable members on that side of the House to enjoin the government in advancing a program benefiting all Guyanese. But I wonder, is the opposition really committed to nation building, or is it all huff and puff? Secondly, Mr. Speaker, these debates articulate policies and measures advanced in Budget 2023. Though we may be distracted by the spuriousness emanating from the now divorced coalition, I do not believe, Mr. Speaker, our Guyanese brothers and sisters can fully grasp from these exchanges what is in store for them. Indeed, Budget 2023 is wide-ranging and comprehensive, and as I commend it, I am confident that the government, after we wrap up our debate, will continue to lay out the budget's plans and programs. Our Guyanese family, as His Excellency Dr. Mohammed Irfan Ali puts it, must know what their government has in store for them. Budget 2023 has been hailed, Mr. Speaker, as history-making and transformative. This year's budget is our nation's largest and will redouble efforts to enhance our people's welfare. Moreover, the plans of the budget will hasten the transformative agenda and reshape our landscape. Budget 2023 brings the Guyanese working man and woman closer to their aspirations. It makes the dream of home ownership easier and affordable. It demolishes the concept that owning a motor vehicle is a luxury, and at the same time, it puts more money into the hands of our workers with no new taxes. For me, Mr. Speaker, this is what makes Budget 2023 history-making and transformative. Never in our history was it so exciting to be a Guyanese. Never there was so much to expect, and never was there such national pride. Indeed, Mr. Speaker, it is almost unbelievable to recognize that in such a short period, the Irfan Ali-led government has reversed our nation from the lethargy that characterized our national space during the 5 years of the coalition. Mr. Speaker, Budget 2023 allocates a significant sum of its expenditure towards the social sectors. Such investments have been a hallmark of every PPPC government. The PPP, since its foundation, has always been a pro-people, pro-development party committed to improving the lives of our people. Past and present PPPC governments, investments in education, health, water, housing, and social services not only protect our Guyanese family today, but ensure that tomorrow and the days after are bright, fruitful, and prosperous. Budget 2023, welcoming, continues and expands on that proud path and placing our people's well-being as its center. Mr. Speaker, Budget 2023 has earmarked almost $95 billion for the education sector. Today, the aspirations of our nation's children are no longer confined to their dreams. In the sector, I recognize the expansion of infrastructure alongside enhanced capacity and capabilities. These investments bode well for our nation's children. That apart, the opportunities to attain a university education has been enhanced through investments in the University of Guyana and the Gold Program. Emphasis on expanding technical and vocational education to expand our pool of artisans is also helping to mold our nation. Similarly, Mr. Speaker, enhancements in healthcare are assured as several new hospitals are under construction. I recognize too the emphasis on strengthening and improving our capabilities as the sector in an upward trajectory. This is a far cry from the days of the infamous condom bond. Budget 2023 also provides more breathing room and greater opportunities for our healthcare professionals. Likewise, expenditure to expand the provision of treated water is laudable. We are told very soon most citizens will benefit from fully treated water. Given the rundown state of the water company in 2020, this is a remarkable achievement and a reminder of the government's commitment to bettering the lives of our people. In housing, substantial sums have been allocated. Indeed, the demand is significant, as the former coalition government really did nothing when in office. But our comrades in that sector are not daunted, and unlike their predecessors, are hard at work, expanding our housing stock. Indeed, the dream of home ownership has been and is being realized by thousands of Guyanese under the PPPC. The continuing and expanding support to our poor and vulnerable must also attract our appreciation. Mr. Speaker, today, the helping hand of the state remains a source of comfort for many of our Guyanese brothers and sisters. I'm fortified in my belief that President Ali and his government in the coming years will ensure that such assistance is expanded. Comrade Speaker, I also paid keen attention to what Budget 2023 has for our workers. And I must say that me nor the working class are disappointed. Mr. Speaker, our workers stand to receive aggregately more than $3 billion just through the improvement of the income tax threshold. And that's only one policy. In the interest of the workers too, our government, this PPPC government, has continued not to levy any taxes on fuel, foregoing some $17 billion in revenue. Additionally, reduction in freight charges for imports is meaningfully assisting in mitigating the rising cost of living. And financial support to both the GPL and GWI to maintain electricity and water tariffs represents significant support to the working class. Since the presentation of budget, I have seen in the media and elsewhere some wild statements by honorable members of the Divorce Coalition. They have short memory. Just a few years ago, Guyanese had to pay taxes on water and electricity. Our children had to pay VAT to go to school. And when we visited the hospitals, taxes were charged, as well as a host of others, hikes. Today, Mr. Speaker, the Irfan Ali government has removed those burdens from the backs of the working class, placing a substantial sum of monies in the pockets of our working people. Today, Mr. Speaker, it is the PPPC which is giving and not taking from our workers. And today, Mr. Speaker, it is this government which is chartering a prosperous course for all Guyana. Mr. Speaker, while our colleagues from the coalition may want to mouth off, their records of destruction speaks loudly. It is chalk to cheese when compared to what the PPPC has done in a relatively short period of time. Mr. Speaker, as someone very close to the sugar industry, I laud the budget's allocation of $4 billion to the Guyana Sugar Corporation, Inc., GAISUCU. This support will continue the effort of repairing the purposeful and vindictive damage inflicted by the APNU AFC when in government. The reorientation of the industry is moving at a pace, and I recognize the efforts to improve revenues, enhance efficiency, and reduce costs. The expansion of the packaging plant at Blemont and the construction of a new plant at Albion will undoubtedly enhance the industry's march to sustainability. Packet sugar, Mr. Speaker, is sold higher than what is obtained from raw bulk sugar. I am aware that the industry has secure markets in several countries, however, is limited by its packaging capacity. This is welcoming news, Mr. Speaker, and is an indicator that we are moving in the right direction. The efforts to enhance mechanization also present greater opportunities to improve productivity and efficiency. I'm certain that these investments will pay dividends several times over and redound to the industry's performance. On sugar, Mr. Speaker, I saw opposition member, the Honorable Amanza Walton Desir, saying in a news report that the investment in the sugar industry was throwing monies into a black hole. And the Honorable Ramjatan said bad investment, and its colleagues in the APNU AFC right-sized the industry. Mr. Speaker, it was the same Ramjatan honorable member and the infamous Nimakaram who promised the sugar workers 20% increase, and during their term of government, not a cent, and dismissed 7,000 workers under the guise of right size. It was the same Honorable Ramjatan when he was Vice President who refused to have an impact assessment study done. And Mr. Chairman, Comrade Speaker, it can only take evil people to commit the acts that they have committed against those poor workers. Mr. Speaker, this naked, undisguised insult to sugar workers and all our people in the sugar belt must not be tolerated. It has no place in our society. Does the honorable members, and for that matter, the wider APNU and AFC, have no care or regard for the thousands who depend on the industry? Or is it that those in the sugar belt are lesser morals, destined to some inhumane existence? Mr. Speaker, it is unacceptable that such derogatory sentiments could come from the opposition, excluding, of course, the Deputy Speaker.
At this time, we will need an extension for you to conclude.
Mr. Speaker, I would like to ask that my colleague be given additional time to conclude. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Minister. Honorable Member, you may continue
Thank
to
you,
conclude in 5 minutes.
Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, it is unacceptable that such derogatory sentiments could come from the opposition, especially when they are aware of the painful consequences of their callous decision when in government that caused tens of thousands in the sugar belt to be pushed into a miserable existence. But let it be known, Mr. Speaker, every insult against the sugar workers, some who are supporters of the APNU, would be a nail in the coffin of the AFC APNU. Their time in the opposition would be extended as fresh smoke rise from the chimneys of Rosal Estate and life flourishes again in the sugar belt under this PPP government with provisions for 2023 budget. Mr. Speaker, I take this opportunity to congratulate the Honorable Minister Dr. Ashni Singh and his team at the Ministry of Finance. I also recognize the leadership of President Dr. Irfan Ali, Vice President Dr. Bara Jagdeo, and the Cabinet in developing and advancing a budget for the people. Certainly, Mr. Speaker, Budget 2023 will advance the well-being, welfare, and standard of living of all our people. It places Guyana further along the journey of prosperity, and it brings one's dreams into reality for thousands of people. Budget 2023 consolidates the achievements since the PPPC re-entry into office in 2020. It represents a continuation of the party's contract with the Guyanese people, and it is a tangible manifestation of the Guyana we yearn for. Mr. Speaker, I commend once again Budget 2023 and encourage all Guyanese, our family, to reject the narrow and divisive diatribe coming from the APNU AFC. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Honorable Member. And now for the Honorable Member, Ms. Sheila Virasamy, to conclude tonight's presentation.